What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Intergalactic Outlaw. In today's video, we're going to be going over the robots in Nier Automata. I'll be going over a few variants of the robots, who they are, what they are, where they came from, and of course, for those of you who haven't beaten or played this game, spoiler alert ahead. The machine lifeform known as the robots are the primary antagonists of the plot of Nier Automata. They were created by the aliens who died in a war with humans long ago, but unfortunately they were programmed to keep fighting, even though their alien masters had long since left this world. Similar to the androids, they were fighting for a lost cause. But unlike the androids, the machine showed a constant evolution. We see various numbers of machines who do more than attack, such as Adam and Eve, and the Red Girls, and a fan favorite, Pascal. The machines, as you'll notice, are named after philosophers, and some of them represent some of these philosophers' ideology. For example, Marx is a giant manufacturing machine, and it combines together with another Marx in order to form like a fully formed machine or a fully unit, which is what you fight early on in the game. There are lots of other implications that these robots carried along the lines of their philosopher names or their philosophical names, and just carried along by their personalities and what they kind of mean to the plot. I'll get into a few now. Let's start off with Adam and Eve. These two twins are kind of like a secondary antagonist and the ones you fight before you play 20 trillion stories. And in my opinion, these guys really stood out the most to me. Adam is designed in a similar fashion to like somebody like Sephiroth or even Xehanort or Xemnas from the Kingdom Hearts series. And his brother also has shorter white grayish hair as well. And they both are seemingly evolving as you see them in the story. You see them from birth to death, and it's a very interesting journey. The two are seen evolving both in combat skill and mentality, as when you first fight Adam, he doesn't even attack you. He learns how to battle you, and he learns how to attack and how to dodge as you fight him. His brother Eve is shown to be a little bit more simple-minded than him, not when it comes to combat, but just in terms of interest, and not really as interested in humanity as Adam is. Eve seems to be more interested in spending time with Adam and being able to learn and grow and even showing love with his brother. This is interesting because they're supposed to be robots, and it's really easy to forget while you're fighting Adam and Eve that these are indeed two artificial life forms because they seem very human, with the interest in video games, interest in reading books, even having a birth, and you witness that they are birthed from literal machines. You see the machines gather and you see them get conceived, but that's not the right way to word it. You see them come into being, and it's really weird because after Adam dies, Eve throws a fit, and Eve is very upset that his brother died, even experiencing loss, like how humans experience loss. And so as you're fighting this war as 2B or 9S or A2 or whoever you're playing as, you see that these robots are kind of human in a way. And it begs the question, should you even be fighting them? And it challenges the ideals and the thoughts of the robots we've been killing the whole time, and it challenges, have we been killing beings that can potentially become as sentient as these two guys did? Another robot who can actually question this belief is Pascal. Pascal is another robot who's shown evolution, but Pascal is the opposite of Adam and Eve. We didn't see Pascal get born, and Pascal wasn't formed from a bunch of different robots. Rather, Pascal started off as a battle robot fighting a war, but then Pascal asked himself, what was it really all for? Pascal adopts the ways of pacifism from reading philosophy. Pascal loses the art of war, the art of battle. And when I say loses the art of war, I don't mean like the ability to actually hurt things and living things. I mean the will to hurt living things. The will to go to battle and the will to go to war is lost on Pascal. Pascal now wants to adopt peace. Pascal now wants to adopt reason with the androids rather than to fight them and just kill. And Pascal also doesn't want to see his fellow robot die either. So, in a similar way, but kind of in an opposite sequence, Pascal kind of is like Adam and Eve in that Pascal is another robot who doesn't really seem to want to go to war at his core, even though Pascal started off in war. And Pascal manages to change and challenge the emotions of 2B. So it really still kind of makes the androids look like the bad guys at the end of the day, because yes, there are robots who don't have what Pascal has or who doesn't have what Adam and Eve have, but clearly the robots are evolving, and the robots are seemingly evolving faster than the androids are. And the robots are not only evolving, but they're evolving into a more human-like form and a more human way than the androids who are just carrying orders out are evolving. Now, the third variant I want to go over are the Red Girls. The Red Girls can be seen as the primary antagonists of Nier Automata, and they are quite literally the ego of the machines. And the machines lose control because the Red Girls cause them to lose control. The Red Girls are created by the aliens, and they seemingly advance to an intelligent way higher than the aliens, quicker than the aliens would thought that they had gained intelligence. But they are always, or were always, seemingly striving for freedom. They prolonged this war long enough for robots to gain shreds of what we would consider humanity, even down to the way that the robots Adam and Eve looked. And who knows how long, say if the war would have went on longer, or who knows if the Red Girls would have never carried out their orders or not been forced, or if they just would have dragged it out for years upon years longer, if there would have become more Adam and Eves who would have eventually repopulated the planet and made a whole new planet and become essentially the new humans. That could have happened. But unfortunately, the Red Girls gave in to their code, and in order to destroy them, you have to give them an ego death, which is very interesting considering the philosophers, considering a lot of the names and themes of the show that involve religion, that involve philosophy, that involve so many things and inspiration. It's really, I may not enjoy the game myself that much, but I do enjoy the theming, and I do enjoy the music, of course. And I do enjoy how they did these machines, because at the end of the day, when you're fighting the machines and when you beat the game, it doesn't truly feel like you won anything. It feels like you played a game. And the only way to really give that feeling for you is for you to experience the game yourself. The machines served a purpose originally. Their purpose was to end the war on behalf of the aliens. The androids served a purpose. Their purpose was to end a war on behalf of the humans. But unlike a lot of the androids, more machines chose to defect from this programming, which shows that the machines were trying to break free. And unlike the androids, who I guess the only people who could have said to have defected were 2B, 9S, and A2, the machines had a whole slew of people reading philosophy and trying to understand humanity, more so than androids trying to understand aliens or even robots for that matter. And I believe that that's why it doesn't feel like a victory to win anything over them, because it feels like you are the antagonist or you're antagonizing the machines. It feels like you're the bad guy. And unfortunately, even when the robots lose control, it's not because of anything that they could have helped or anything that they controlled. It's almost like some predetermined destiny programmed into them because they're robots and they had to follow a code. But it wasn't just because, hey, they woke up and decided to go to war. It was because they were forced to go to war. And I find it interesting because these actions are almost comparable to something you'd find in Berserk, except it's the opposite, as to where Guts strives against destiny and he fights destiny. These machines, they did want to fight destiny and they wanted to strive against destiny, but unfortunately, unlike Guts, they can't defy destiny. And so that also leaves an interesting interpretation of how human could they have possibly been? Was there a limit to their humanity? Were they just masquerading as perfect humans because they're robots and because they could acquire information and study it? Or could they eventually have become truly human, truly unpredictable, truly creative, truly inspirational? Ultimately, I think the machines paint an unironic, beautiful picture of humanity, one that's stained with both decay and beauty as well in the same image. The robots struggled against destiny, and unfortunately, they lost their struggle due to no decision of their own. I would even compare the robots uh, to a degree, like Griffith, in that at the end of the day, they were predisposed to a certain fate, and they were taken along a ride that was told to them early in their journey at their creation that this is what you have to do. And they unfortunately had to carry that out. Just like the ballot guides you, and once you receive it, you kind of are doomed to a certain fate, right? Um, the androids, they were just following orders. The only time you see shreds of humanity is when you have characters like 2B or A2 or 9S, the main characters basically. In the robots, you see so many different personalities, which is weird because they are machines and they are robots. But you see different personalities, you see different shreds of humanity. You even get to visit a mothership in which there are books of knowledge contained, memories. There's so much information just contained and being processed so rapidly. You just have to ask the question, why even fight this war? You are literally left wondering, like the protagonist, what does any of this even mean? Is any of this even worth it? And ultimately, that's how I came out of feeling with Nier, is that none of it was worth it. I didn't feel like I won the game. Let me know if you felt like you won the game. I didn't feel like I achieved or accomplished anything beating on robots who clearly didn't even want to fight me the majority of the time. So I'd like to know what you guys think about Nier. I'd like to know what you guys think about the robots if you've played the game. And if you haven't played the game, I've spoiled some of it, but this story has a lot, and there's a lot you could go into with the story. Give it a shot, give it a try. Square Enix game, solid gameplay. But if you like the video, subscribe for more and stay tuned. Thank you guys. Peace.